Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be discussing the biggest money regrets in North America by decades. So what are people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s most regretful for? And when it comes to making financial decisions. And by the end of this video, my hope is to help you have a clear picture on how to avoid making those same decisions that could slow you down on your way to having a strong financial future. Let's start with our 20s. Entrepreneur.com did an article back in 2018 that went through the top 20 mistakes North Americans make in their 20s. And can you guess what number one is? Spending more money than you make. Now, being in my 20s myself, I can definitely vouch for this one. I've seen many friends and acquaintances go make purchases that were way outside of their budget, things they should not have even been thinking about purchasing, or making a lot of small purchases very often and still end up way out of their budget. Now, I'm not innocent here either. I've definitely made purchases in the past that were not a smart financial decision based on my income at the time. Now, it's understandable why this is the biggest money regret for most people in their 20s. If you think about it, there's really two causes for this. The first is once you hit your early to mid 20s, you're usually starting to work in an actual career, not just something that's minimum wage. And whether it's in trades or something that you went and got a degree for and now you're working in that field. And in a lot of the cases, you start earning more money than you've ever made before. It becomes, quite a freeing feeling. Now, that combined with the fact that most people in their 20s are still living at home and have reduced expenses, it gives you this false idea that we have all this extra money we can spend on anything that we'd like. It couldn't be further from the truth. When in reality, that extra money that we have, we should be stacking it, as much money as we possibly can, saving. Now, the second cause for 20-somethings' biggest financial regret being spending more money than they make could easily be linked to the day and age that we live in. Look at social media. Every time you open it, there's someone that you know posting about a fancy car that they just bought or a vacation that they just took. It's not uncommon these days to see girls in their 20s posting pictures of, handbags that cost more than some people's yearly tuition. It's just the way that it is. Or guys who seem to have endless money to go out at the bar and having the night of their lives weekend after weekend after weekend. Now, I'm not hating on anybody. If you have the funds to do so, do it by all means and have as much fun as you possibly can. But the reality is most people in their 20s don't have the financial stability to actually afford doing those things. However, when we see it on social media, the FOMO can really hit us hard, making us feel like we should be able to have or do those things as well, whether we can financially afford it or not. So we're willing to make those decisions now that we will regret in the future. Now, what is the biggest financial regret for someone in their 30s? Back in 2019, the New York Life Insurance Company did a survey that showed the top regret for 30-something-year-olds was not starting to save for retirement soon enough. Now, working in the financial industry myself, I can certainly attest to this. I have sat with many families in their mid to late 30s that are just getting the ball rolling on their retirement savings. Now, I want to make it clear that starting at any time is always better than never making it a priority. That the saying of better late than never. Absolutely. But why I think people in their 30s find this to be their biggest financial regret is when it comes to the time value of money and not understanding the time value of money. When you look at compound interest, the earlier you can start tucking money away, the more your money will actually work for you as you approach retirement. Think of it this way when you're looking at compound interest. An individual who's 20 years old today saves $10,000 a year for the next 10 years until they're age 30. Then never makes another deposit. They just let their money continue to sit there and grow, gaining interest until age 65. Versus an individual who starts saving at age 30, who saves the same $10,000 a year, but does it for 15 years instead of 10, and then lets it sit there from 45 till age 60, gaining interest. Most people would say that because the 30-year-old put in an extra 50 grand, their savings would come out ahead, but they would be wrong. Assuming these two people are earning the same interest rate, even though the 30-year-olds put in more money, the 20-year-old has had an extra 10 years for compound interest on that money and taking advantage of that. So if you haven't started saving yet, please make it a priority for you and your family. If you don't know where to start, reach out to someone who is a professional who knows what they are doing and can help get the ball rolling for you. The last group we're gonna look at today is people in their 40s. So what is the biggest financial regret for the 40+ crowd? According to moneywise.com, the number one regret for people in their 40s was not saving enough for retirement. And this concern is one that actually continues to grow as you get older, not just in your 40s. With humans' average lifespan getting longer and longer each year, and the cost of living continuing to rise, families are becoming more and more concerned that they're gonna outlive their retirement savings. If you've never actually sat down to figure out your financial independence number, or your FIN number that I like to call it, which is the amount of money you'll need sitting there when you go to actually retire so you can live the life that you want, I would highly recommend contacting a professional that you trust to sit down with and map out that number and what it looks like for you and your family, because it's probably more than you think. It's already hard enough these days for families to save the amount of money that they actually need. We don't want to make it harder by not knowing the destination of where we're trying to go and get to. That's like if you decided, if you're living in Vancouver, Canada, and saying, we're going to travel to Miami, Florida without a map. We're just gonna get in the car and start driving, and hopefully we end up at the hotel we're staying at. Not the best plan time-wise to get you there or for your financial future. Now, one thing that might be able to help alleviate this concern is having a side hustle that brings in additional income for you and your family. For some families, even if they know exactly how much they need to save to have a comfortable retirement, after paying the mortgage, for kids' activities, for gas, for groceries, maybe at one vacation or 2 vacations a year, there isn't always money left over to actually be able to hit that number. If this is the case for you and your family, I'd encourage you to find something additional that can help supplement your income, something you enjoy, something you're passionate about, and it'll help supercharge your retirement savings. These days, the options for side hustles seem endless. Just find something that makes the most sense for you and go give it a shot. So that is a wrap on the biggest financial regrets that we have throughout our lives. I hope you found this video very helpful in either identifying some areas that can help you through any worries that you may have had around your own finances, or help give you a foreshadow of what others have struggled with so that you can avoid making those same mistakes yourself. As always, if you have any questions on anything we went through today, feel free to leave a comment below or DM me directly on Instagram if it's something more personal you'd like to ask. If you found this video helpful today, please like it, subscribe, and share it with somebody you think might also get value, as I'll be trying to bring the most value I can on this channel to help you continue to learn about finances, business mindset, and daily inspiration.